Hello, my name is Nathan Hayes, and this is my code for uh, code problems set 1.3, where you had a string, a given string s, and you had to convert. You had to find the longest substring within that string where the characters were in alphabetical order, and in the case of ties, like this, should print ABC. Because we see it says ABC, and then B, C, D. So, little tricky. Basically what I did is I started out with this. Something I didn't know is that you could create different coding cells. I don't super understand the point of it, but I ended up doing it because I had to go through like a lot of debugging for this code. Um, I knew my code was right for this portion. I'll just talk about that later. We have this current substring, which is the position 0 of the S string, which would be here at A. Longest sub starts at the same position. For I in range of the length of S, I'll put it in the position 1 because we have a before iteration and we have a current iteration, like 1 in front of it. Probably should have just said after, but before is S of I minus 1, which would just be 0, like where A is. And in current iteration is 1 ahead at Z. So it's scanning the first character and then the character ahead of that. Something that I had to learn during this, originally I wanted to create like, I wanted to have a way that I could correlate like letters and um, numbers together, like kind of correlate like A equals 1 or B equals 2, but apparently it does that on its own. I'm not used to that. I feel like the alphabetical order codes that I did in like Java were not like that, but it's been a while since those classes. But it took me a second, a little bit of Googling to find out that you can say it's the current iteration, the one in front of what before would be, which would be the one behind. If it's greater than that, if it has like if it, apparently the number increments based on its position in the alphabetical, the alphabet. So we're saying the current substring, we're adding the current iteration to that. If it's greater than or equal to the one that is already on. So if it's the same letter or if it's I guess a letter with a higher value. Um, and we're saying that if the length of the current substring is greater than the length of the longest substring, the longest substring is now the current substring. Just put an else statement to terminate, kind of like break. I guess I probably could have put break right here instead of else. And then the longest substring is longest sub. Yeah, I didn't know that letters already had like a numeric value to them. So that took me a while. Another thing that almost broke me in this coding thing, I know, right? Like the second coding thing, I'm gonna have a breakdown. I knew my code was correct because I had looked at the hints that you had given us, and I had looked at the video that you had posted to both of them, and then I had Googled online, and people had all kind of had like the same idea of like you can compare two characters in a string, and they'll have values based off the letter that it is, and that was all good and well. And so I just did that, which what would make sense to me. But I was getting like the wrong answer, like completely wrong answer. It was like something totally different. Like it wasn't beggh, even though it was the same exact code you're seeing here. And the reason why it wasn't working is because of the indentation of uh, this code, and I didn't know that at all. And that was made me very mad because I didn't know that that was the problem. Like, what a silly thing to. I've coded in Java, and in C+. I don't think I've had that issue before. But maybe, who knows? What do I know? Let me use the other thing to test. Which is why the longest which is why I ended up making these coding blocks, because I was like, should I make something else? Like, why is it not working? ABC, thank you for watching my video.